Hey guys, so Rohan again, continuing the Rock Brigade review album series for Def Leppard, and this being the fourth part as to what we're going to be doing, having covered the EP and the first three albums. As we left off, we had said, or I had said that something unfortunate was going to happen between Pyromania and the album that followed it, and that was that unfortunately Rick Allen was going to meet with a very severe car accident and lose his left arm. It raised a lot of questions whether he would even continue. It raised a lot of questions whether he would be in the band anymore. But what is interesting to note is that Joe and the boys could have replaced Rick. They could have been good friends, but they could have replaced him. But kudos to these guys. They really, really demonstrated brotherhood on so many levels. They not only encouraged Rick on so many ways to get better, but they even said that you're part of the family, you will remain part of the family. And he said that he was so touched by this. He understood true friendship from this. And I think that if anyone could say anything about Leopard, it's two things. One is that yes, they are great rock guys, but they're gentlemen at the end of the day. They understand family, they understand values. They're very much a people's band. They hold so much together. They demonstrate that through all their lives. And I think that's something to admire for bands that are aspiring to do great things. If you don't get along, if you don't have this sense of camaraderie and brotherhood and bond, things are going to unravel pretty quickly. Even if you're great guys and you can somehow do business together, it's important to have that personal bond and connection. So at this point, the band had made, after coming off the Pyromania tour, made several attempts to try and record a new album, which they wanted to be bigger in terms of attitude, vibe, song quality, and so on. And unfortunately, Mutt was busy at this point, so they kind of were looking around for a set of producers. Unfortunately, they couldn't get one. They got Jim Steinman, who wrote a lot of great tracks for Meatloaf and so on, but things didn't work out there. They tried it again with Nigel Green, who is Mutt's engineer, but again, they didn't really achieve much success. So from when the Pyromania ended, it was only when Mutt got a little free and actually met up with the band and actually listened to what they had finally put out, because there was a lot of pressure from the record company to get this album out, that he said that we need to rebook this album. So the band went in, they really slogged it out, they really tried to put things together, encouraging Rick working, and then with Mutt, actually Mutt deserves a lot of credit for actually getting Rick to play drums again, because he told him that you could probably have your left leg do what your left arm used to do. And that was brilliant, because you can even see as a producer, Mutt really cared for these guys and they really adored Mutt, and they still look up to him even till today. He's their mentor. And things worked so well in the end that you finally ended up with this gigantic album, which made Pyromania even seem small, which was Hysteria. And Hysteria in so many ways was brilliant. I mean, just from the cover art, you can see actually these three different faces depicting things. So face one, two, and three, the leopard, triangle, which is there from On Through the Night, the logo, this interesting stuff. And even when the singles were released, it had parts of the album cover, as their cover. So you actually get this kind of puzzle effect, which is really cool. It was an album that pushed them to the limits on so many levels, but the song quality, the change in sound really was here. Very mainstream, a lot of pop influence, but mixing it so well and balancing it so well with this heavy sound, and the production quality, unbelievable, even for that time. Even to this day, it sounds awesome. Um, Starting off with, unlike the previous three albums, or even the EP, which had this heavy rock sound, this album actually begins with a song that sort of starts soft, but it just kind of draws you in and amazes you, which is a song called Woman, which, if you really look at the lyrics, is about like the Garden of Eden, Adam and Eve. But what we're told from the reviews and from the album review that the band actually released was that this song was actually about celebrating women, respecting them, and actually talking about things like that. So it was a celebratory song in many ways, but it just really awesome, unlike anything they'd actually ever put out. It is really and got so many dynamic elements to it. And what follows is what many consider to be, like one of the best live songs, which is Rocket, which I kind of mentioned on the On Through the Night series when I spoke about the song Satellite. But Rocket has got this interesting drum tone. It's like this tribal drum tone. It just rings throughout. Just for the guys who are wondering, what does the band say before the song started, which is sounds kind of like, oh, help us now, we're doing our thing, which I thought it sounded like, was actually Gods of War, just played backwards. So yeah, um, Rocket is a song that really takes you in outer space. It is a song that actually talks about all the influences in the lyrics. It's a song that has amazing guitar work. It is all over the place, and there are two versions. There's the album version and there's the video version, which you get. I just love both. They're so catchy. And following this is the song that Leopard struggled with, but is brilliant. It's like the two-part chorus, the way it builds up, which is the song Animal. And Animal is considered, like if you talk about Def Leppard, it is a song that you identify them with. And this is a song which, is so cool. You straight off get it's a song that, comes close to the band's name, which is of leopard. So you just kind of conjure this image of circus, of wildness, and so on. But the song is really, really big. It is the big anthem song on this particular album, excuse me. And the next track is what many consider to be one of their best ballads ever, which is Love Bites. And Love Bites is a song that you can keep listening to again and again and again, and you can never get tired of it. It is raw, it is edgy, it is a song of regret, it is a song of raw emotion or whatnot. You can probably describe so many things about it. It is really, really out there. It is something that really catches you. And following this is the song that fans just can't wait to hear, which is Pour Some Sugar on Me. It is, I would say, probably the most played Leopard track ever. It is a song that you might even hear today, here in clubs and so on. Combination of drums and vocals, guitar and vocals, and who knows what. I mean, it's got so many, again, elements to it. That was the thing about Hysteria, is that each song had so much diversity on it that, it really demanded you that you paid attention from start to finish. So Pour Some Sugar on Me is definitely the anthem song, up there with Animal, and some would say even more popular than Animal, but still great track, really, really catches you. And the next one is Armageddon It, and the band said it's nothing about nuclear war. But I think if you really say Armageddon It, I'm getting it. Like, I get it. Like, this is cool. This is good. So I think it's just a play on, how the sound of that, those two words are together. And again, very fun track. This is the only song which actually features a band member's name, which is Steve Clarke. And again, God bless you, man. His solo on this is so memorable. It is easy to understand. Not only was he great, but he was a guy who actually believed that you need to write stuff that makes sense. You can't just throw in a solo out there just because it sounds kind of cool at that point. But if it doesn't go with the song really well, then it's really not worth having. So that's a solo that, and the way in which he approached things. And Phil is really backing him up really solid on this particular number. Then you get into a song which is very much the epic song, which is Gods of War. And it is, I mean, wow. I mean, this is a song for guys who think that Leopard can't be in the heavy metal club in some way, even though they don't want to be. But if you ever hear this track, you begin to understand again how diverse these guys are. It's the same in the vein of Die Hard Hunter from Pyromania. Really, really cool stuff, which you can actually find on this album. And then you get into a song which is, well, for me, it didn't quite work. In some ways, something about this track just doesn't quite work for me, which is Don't Shoot Shotgun. It's good, but it's kind of a mid-tempo type thing. I'm not quite sure. To me, it feels not exactly a filler, but it's kind of in the same vein as how I felt about You Got Me Running, or Answer to the Master, and so on. I mean, that's just the way I feel about this track. But the next track, which is Run Riot, is just makes up for it. It is a real shredder. It just like punches you in the face. That's the way in which I look at Run Riot. It is really, really good. And when you get into the track that follows, which is Hysteria, the album title track, I would say there's just no words to describe this track. This is a song that has got so many layers to it that every time you listen to it, you can discover something new. Yeah, I said it, and that's a fact. A lot of guys have even told me that. A lot of heavy metal guys and whatnot, hard rock fans and so on. Every time they hear this song, they think that, wow, there's something I didn't hear before. It's a very groovy number. It's a dance number. It's a love song. It's a rock song. It just packs in a lot. Definitely one of the ballads, but wow, that's all I can say. Wow. And then you get into a song which is kind of interesting, the feel good, song which is excitable, really interesting, kind of mid-tempo, really cool, nice way to, like to sort of bring the album towards its closure and so on, which finally ends with the song which is Love and Affection. Very sweet song, very good ballad, really catchy. You can sort of flow with this rhythm. It really makes a lot of sense, and it's a lot of fun to actually listen to. So yeah, overall, the biggest from that era, the biggest album that Leopard, you could say, has ever put out, according to many fans. People adore this album. People think that this and Pyromania are really what set the tone and make Def Leppard so memorable. But there's a lot more to the discography of Def Leppard and even the following album that really makes Def Leppard such a world-class, renowned international act. And we're going to get that to that in the next part. So stay tuned and thanks.